Hey guys, how's it going? So, to sort of start off the house project, I wanted to sort of go over what I've been doing over summer. So for the summer project we had to read a book called Invisible Cities, which is this. It's a book by Vintage Calvino, and it's basically loads and loads of little individual cities which all have different aspects about them, and so it basically had to read the book, and we got given a brief saying create a metaphorical sort of your own interpretation of the city. So basically I chose Sin Cities 2, which is Miller, and in the book it says that Miller is a city which is sort of been left, and it's just the utilities that are there. So I've got like written here, water pipe, ruin, maybe they're living in a pipe, maybe they're using the pipes to live inside. It almost looks like a ruin because of it's just got pipes, nothing else. So if you can imagine a I-beam structure, steel I-beam structure, which I'll put there to give you an example, it'd be something that looks like that, but it'd be pipes like water pipes, gas pipes, all of them kind of things. And then I drew the Colosseum, which I'll put there as well. I sort of drew the Colosseum to help me visualise what a ruin would look like and sort of how it works in a environment where you wouldn't necessarily see a ruin. So say in the middle of a city you wouldn't see a ruin, but in a Miller it is, or the whole city is a ruin pretty much. I then sort of picked up some more keywords from the book, some more key sentences like forest of pipes, unfinished or demolished, late fruit hanging from the boughs, combing their long hair at a mirror. So the last two are really important because obviously late fruit hanging from the boughs is talking about the toilets and the sinks and the baths, as in that they're just floating in midair. And I matched it with combing their long hair at the mirror because obviously if someone's combing their hair at the mirror, I tend to think that means that they're living in the space. So these people are using these pipes to actually live inside, or they're using them to create a space where they can live. I kind of thought it'd be a bit dystopian, sort of mechanical looking, quite heavily industrial, sort of almost like a chemical plant. I had sort of had that in mind when I thought about it. So then I thought about pipe systems, like where the wastewater goes, where the rainwater comes in, where loads of stuff like that. So basically I knew every detail about where everything was going and how all the pipe systems interlink with each other, and sort of run it around all that. Then I did the drawing living in a pipe, which is there. So I like the idea of this because if a space can be created from a pipe, so like a large sewage pipe that's been unearthed, for example, and someone was living in that, does that make that piece of concrete architecture? Because it provides a structure and it provides a dwelling for someone to live in. So is that technically considered architecture, or is it just a pipe that someone's decided to live in? And then I've done some more drawings, the pipe system acts like a steel structure, going back to the I-beams and stuff like that, and thinking more about how they all sort of interact with each other. So I've done these two drawings here, and these two here, which I'll put there and there. And then I sort of looked at more sort of, these are just sort of construction details that I looked into, just to sort of help me understand pipes a bit more and how they all connect to each other and interlink. And say like how a large pipe filters down into a smaller pipe, and then maybe how that smaller pipe filters into being a tap. So then there's the City of Pipes, which is a sentence that I picked up on in the book, where it's there. To me, I think about people actually living inside these spaces, whether they all live as one inside the whole thing, or whether they all have their own little individual sections amongst different pipes. So I thought that was quite a cool concept to look at. I also looked at scaffolding as well, because I knew that scaffolding was a structural piping in a way, like purpose-built sort of architecture in a way, where somebody's actually using it for a reason. And I kind of thought about it as in, maybe our Miller is just purpose-built architecture because maybe they have nowhere else to go or something like that, so they're just sort of living in the environment that they were given. I then looked at the sort of mapping it out as a plan and trying to understand the spaces that could be created if I built it as a model. So in the most part, I like how you cannot tell what perspective the pipes are. It reminds me of the Pompidou Centre and the Composition 4 by Piet Mondrian, which, for example, on this image, the red would represent toilets and baths and sinks, and then the dark greys to the lighter greys can represent living spaces. So I thought it was a really interesting way of understanding it. And then I kind of went more into understanding what makes a floor, what makes a wall, what makes a ceiling. So I thought about orthodox architecture, where it's just a basic house like the one I'm in now. And then I sort of thought about an orthodox architecture where these pipes could fulfill these needs for the people that live there. So a row of pipes could make a wall, sort of different gas pipes and water pipes and all that sort of stuff could make a ceiling or a roof. Armilla doesn't have the necessary materials such as brick and all that sort of stuff, it's just pipes. So if these pipes can fill these needs, should they be considered architecture? If someone's actually living in a dwelling created by the materials that are given to them, should that dwelling be considered architecture? So for example, if a cave, and someone's living in the cave, a cave's a natural formation, so should that cave be considered architecture, or is that just a dwelling? And that's kind of the thing that I'm trying to figure out at the minute. To understand it more, I created a series saying what is architecture, where I did this drawing on the left, and it's basically just like a lot like the City of Pipes in some ways, where it's just all the pipes are different, but people would live in different spaces, and like there's walls in there, there's ceilings in there, and there's roof in there. There's also floors in there, but is that considered architecture, or is that just a composition of elements? Which in some cases that's all architecture is really. So then I also looked at sort of putting people in there to give a sort of element of scale, and how the rooms would interact with each other, or how the spaces would be created, or just to really see how the elements would work with each other, with people inside it, and to obviously give a sense of scale, because that's one of the most important things. My next step is to carry on with this utility section. This is the utility section of my house that I'm in now, where I've got the gas in red, the electrical in beige, and the water in blue. And then, so that's just sort of like a section of where the electrics are and the gas and all that sort of stuff. So I was trying to envision my house as in a sort of Armilla style. So then I've gone for a plan as well, where I've done the water, the lights in green, electrical in red, and the grey is the heater. Wires in at the back as well, just to really understand where the pipes would be feed into and where they'd be sort of coming from, and what sort of structure I could create through this. I've also done some perspective drawings of the house itself to just really understand it and sort of see how they all interact pretty much, and what it could look like if this house was in the style of Armilla. So now my next stages are to actually build this as a model, the ground floor of this house as a model in just pipes. And then I also, at the minute, I'm sort of developing it on SketchUp. So that's kind of where I'm at with the project at the minute. And yeah, I'll keep you updated in the next video. So thank you for watching, and I will see you later.